Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the academic procession and the Chancellor.
I declare that the 596th Convocation of McMaster University for the conferring of degrees is now in session.
Please be seated. Good afternoon. My name is David Farrar, and I am the Provost and Vice President Academic of the University. And this afternoon, I have the great pleasure of acting as your Master of Ceremonies and of welcoming you all, graduands and guests, to today's convocation ceremony. I would like to start by recognizing and acknowledging that we meet today on the traditional territories of the Mississauga and the Haudenosaunee Nations within the lands protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. I would also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge some of the notable leaders joining me on stage today. Our Chancellor, Dr. Suzanne Labarge, our President and Vice Chancellor, Dr. Patrick Dean, Vice President Administration, Dr. Roger Codry, the Dean and Vice President of the Faculty of Health Sciences, Dr. Paul O'Byrne, the Executive Vice Dean of the Faculty, Dr. Susan Denberg, and Associate Vice Presidents, Associate and Assistant Deans, Chairs, Directors, faculty members, and honored guests. Before we start the ceremony, I would ask everyone in the auditorium to switch off any electronic devices that may beep or ring during the ceremony. And I would now like to call upon our Chancellor, Dr. Suzanne Labarge, to make her welcoming remarks.
Welcome, honored guests, staff, faculty, families, friends, and most importantly, graduands. This is an exciting day for all of you who are graduating today, as well as for all those people who have supported you and stood behind you, and in many cases have had a key role in you being here today. You've achieved a great deal to get here and should all be very proud of your success and looking forward to what the future might bring. Before we begin the ceremony, I just want to make one minor announcement. One of the privileges of being Chancellor is I get to shake hands individually and congratulate each one of you. However, since I'm at the end of a cold, I think all of you would appreciate if I don't shake your hand this time. So I do apologize, but I wish each of you less. So congratulations and enjoy the ceremony now.
I would now like to introduce Dr. Patrick Dean, President and Vice Chancellor, who will be presenting our honorary degree recipient.
Madam Chancellor, by the authority of the Senate of McMaster University, I have the honor to present Fergus Shanahan. Fergus Shanahan earned his medical degree from University College Dublin and completed his postgraduate training in the same city before arriving at McMaster University in 1981 as a fellow in the mucosal immunology group. At McMaster, Dr. Shanahan contributed to a much-cited paper exploring how mast cells become specialized in certain compartments of the intestine and are able to interact with the nervous system. This paper contributed to the development of the field of neuroimmunology and to McMaster's internationally recognized standing within that new field. Dr. Shanahan followed his 2 years at McMaster with a move to the University of California, Los Angeles, for a fellowship in gastroenterology, before joining the UCLA faculty in 1985, later rising to become an associate professor. He was also an attending physician at the UCLA Center for Health Sciences and director of the UCLA Inflammatory Bowel Disease Program. In 1993, he returned to his native Ireland as a consultant physician and gastroenterologist at Cork University Hospital and as professor and chairman of the Department of Medicine at University College Cork, National University of Ireland, positions he maintains more than 25 years later. He is also the director of the Alimentary Pharmabiotic Center and previously served as director of the Bioscience Institute, both at his home university. Dr. Shanahan's tenure at University College Cork has seen him lead the university to international research prominence, with his own work contributing significantly. 5 of his publications, for example, are in the top 1% of clinical medicine papers, and he discovered a bacterium, Bifidobacterium infantis 35624, which is now used to treat common intestinal conditions worldwide. The founding and current director of the transdisciplinary APC Microbiome Institute, Dr. Shanahan has served in editorial capacities for more than 20 scholarly journals. He holds several patents and has been a co-founder of 3 startup companies: Alimentary Health Limited, Atlantia Food Clinical Trials, and Tucana Health Limited. His commitment to his profession has included service as a member of the scientific advisory boards for the Cummings School of Medicine Endowment and the UK Arthritis Association, as well as membership on the Board of Governors of Mercy University Hospital, Cork, and serving as president of the Irish Society of Gastroenterology. A fellow of the Royal College of Physicians in Ireland, Canada, and the United Kingdom, as well as the American College of Physicians, Dr. Shanahan has been named one of the top 50 Irish and Irish-American bioscientists and received the Irish Society of Immunology Biennial Medal and Public Lecture Award. He was the first recipient of the Hectoon International Medical Humanities Grand Prix, and in 2013, Science Foundation Ireland named him Researcher of the Year. University College Dublin presented Dr. Shanahan with an honorary degree, and the Royal Irish Academy has awarded him a gold medal for contributions to the life sciences. He was elected to the Academy in 2017. Madam Chancellor, I am pleased to welcome Fergus Shanahan back to McMaster, this time not to launch his career, but to celebrate its immense impact and influence. In recognition of his contributions to medicine, research, and to academic leadership, I ask that you confer upon Dr. Shanahan the degree Doctor of Science, honoris causa.
Fergus Shanahan, by the authority of McMaster University Senate, I have the great pleasure to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa, in McMaster University, with all the rights and privileges pertaining to that degree. Congratulations. I would now like to invite Dr. Shanahan to deliver the convocation address.
This is some occasion. Chancellor Labarge, President Dean O'Byrne, distinguished faculty, honorees, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and most particularly, the graduates of 2019. This is your day. It's a special day. It's a special day for me also. And I'm honored to be back and privileged to be back because this is where I began. I congratulate all of you on your success, but you didn't succeed alone. Like me, you've been privileged. You've been privileged to be at a great university, and privileged because of the support of your family and loved ones, and I salute them. I would like to say something about building on your success from here on in. In 1981, I came to McMaster full of hope and apprehension. I wanted to be a clinician scientist. I had the notion that as noble as it is to treat an individual patient, only one person benefits in that situation. But when that patient is included in research, then all patients have the potential to benefit. I had studied in Dublin at a university that can trace its origins back to John Henry Cardinal Newman. Newman's thinking had a profound influence on higher education worldwide and is embodied in his classic work, The Idea of a University Defined. But I depart from Newman's thinking when it comes to research. To discover and to teach are two distinct functions, according to Newman. They are also distinct gifts and are not commonly found in the same person. I disagree. At McMaster, I learned that it was possible to be at once a clinician scientist, a teacher, an entrepreneur, even a risk taker. Our future, your future, depends on risk takers, people who are willing to look at new ideas, willing to explore options and unafraid of failure. A risk taker is someone who thinks more about the benefits of success than the penalties of failure. When Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb, completed 10,000 experiments with a storage battery that failed to produce results, he said, "I've not failed. I just found 10,000 ways that don't work." Of course, I prefer the Irish injunction from Samuel Beckett: ever tried, ever failed, no matter, try again, fail better. If something is important enough to believe in, then it's important enough to persevere with. Life's so-called failures lead to success when we learn from them. If I have any advice to give you today, it is this: don't become famous before you become good. This was said to me here at McMaster all those years ago by Dr. Stephen Collins, who's here today. What did this mean? Don't become famous before you become good. fame being a metaphor for pseudo-success. I took it to mean never sacrifice honesty and integrity for the glories that a career can bring. I took it to mean that for the researcher, one must do all the replicates for an experiment, even when no one knows that you're doing them, or if you didn't do them. I took it to mean that for a clinician, there are no shortcuts in medicine. I would later realize that it also meant you should not, or you should, do the job you're appointed to do before seeking higher office. Too many of our colleagues seek the fast-track advancement by the easy route without ever succeeding at the job they were first asked to do. And John Williams, the author of the modern classic novel, perhaps some of you have read it, the modern classic novel Stoner, about a university teacher, commented on the hero's sense of a job. The job, he said, gives us a kind of identity. If you love something, he said, you're going to understand it. And if you understand it, you're going to learn a lot. The lack of love defines a bad teacher. The same is true for a doctor, a poet, a scientist, or any job you do. Persevere and keep faith. While at McMaster, I learned that science gives us a way of thinking. Thinking scientifically has enriched my life in medicine, and I believe it has enhanced my ability to care for patients. But science is not enough. Science is not enough. Doctoring is about humanity as well as science. My favorite description of what it takes to be a good doctor was captured by Dr. Robert Brooke in California in an article entitled, "A Physician Equals Science plus Emotion plus Passion." A physician equals science plus emotion plus passion. You need science to think about disease, but you need emotion and passion to address the illness experienced by people with the disease. I would add one more thing to that formula. Physician equals science plus emotion plus passion and curiosity. Curiosity will keep you fresh, motivated, and engaged. Curiosity to try to understand what it feels like to be sick. In my view, curiosity should drive the entire medical enterprise. The best way to care for someone is to care about someone, and this begins by being curious about them. Curiosity is also the best antidote that I know of that might protect you from the all-too-common affliction, professional burnout. But curiosity, like kindness, requires continual renewal. You will have been told that medicine will change enormously during your career. To cope with the changes, you will have been advised to become a lifelong learner. Big challenges and opportunities will come with technology, digital health, digital patients, big data, artificial intelligence, super specialization, and evidence-based everything. You all know this. But I believe your biggest challenge will be time. Time with your patients. Almost every advance in medicine has eroded the time doctors spend with their patients and has distanced doctors from their patients. Medicine is full of small significances that take time. These small significances are underappreciated and seldom mentioned among the big issues that I've just listed. These small significances include kindness, showing that you care, and using that most underrated of all clinical skills, listening. To borrow from the poet Maya Angelou, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And success will come your way, not if you aim for it, but if you dedicate yourself to something greater than yourself. Success will come your way in different forms. It will not always be obvious to others, but it will usually be related to how you interact with others, including your children. A final thought for the graduates of 2019. My favorite lines from the Irish poet Seamus Heaney. Walk on air against your better judgment. Walk on air against your better judgment. The clue is in the title of the poem, and it is his epitaph. The title of the poem is The Gravel Walks. You can believe in the marvelous, Heaney is telling us. You can believe in the seemingly impossible or unattainable, but only if you're prepared to work hard. And hard work is needed to achieve peace, poetry, and science, but hard work does give us the right to be risk takers and the right to believe in a vision to realize our ambition. And remember one more thing, graduates. Don't become famous before you become good. Good luck to all of you, and enjoy your day. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shanahan, for those wonderful words. When we choose who we select for an honorary doctorate, we obviously look at our CV, and all you had to do was listen to President Dean's list of all the accomplishments of Dr. Shanahan to understand why we recommended him. But more than that, and you heard it today, was his humanity. And I listened to people who knew him before, who knew him when he was here, and it came across that it is that part of it that makes you more than just a list of accomplishments. It makes you what you are, and it makes the message that he delivered today so much more powerful. So thank you very much, Dr. Shanahan.
Dr. Dean will now come forward to present the graduands to our Chancellor for admission to their degrees.
Would the graduands please stand? Madam Chancellor, on behalf of McMaster University Senate, I present to you these candidates and those in absentia in order that you may confer the appropriate degrees upon them, and I bear witness that they are worthy and suitable.
Graduands, by my authority and that of the McMaster University Senate, I have the great pleasure to admit those before me today and those in absentia to their individual degrees at McMaster University with all of the rights and privileges pertaining to those degrees. My sincere congratulations to you all. Please be seated.
Graduates, I will now ask each of you to join me on stage so that the Chancellor and I may welcome you to the McMaster community of scholars.
Ladies and gentlemen, so that each graduate's name may be heard, it would be appreciated if during the presentation of the graduates, you would hold your collective applause to the end of each degree category. Thank you. Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Doctor of Philosophy. David Bakishnian, Dingren Chang, Bushra Lias, Michelle Kamida, Stephen Morera, Maliha Ahmad Kazi, Matthew Jean-Patrick Poirier, Tahira Devji, Jocelyn Efua Awizi, Vanessa Ha, Sergei Muratov, Danielle Nash, Li Wang, Juan Jose Yepes Nunez, Lindsay Broadfield, Jennifer Fazari, Tanya Miladinovic, Zinni Silvana Chu, Pamela Lahi, Ahmad Muhammad Negam. Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Doctor of Philosophy and Doctor of Medicine. Pranavan Manarajan, Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Master of Science. Jennifer Sui, Alexandra Christofidis, Sherry Nesbitt, Sophia Joanna Wazowski, Natalie Soledad Cozoda Callo, Luis Enrique Colonga Lozano, Joanne Sylvia Lee, Jacqueline Katling Wong, Emily May Block, Sarah Christine Shackleton, Daphna Joy Steinberg, Muhammad Hadi Tahwari, Justin Brunei, Victoria Kresofuska, Jeff Lamb, Sabrina Shritha, Monica Noy, Janelle Pandey, Vanessa Martins-Thomas. Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree of Masters of Science Occupational Therapy. Rachel Lynn Sterling, Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Master of Public Health. Katie Yan Yi Chung, Tiffany Dang, Anusha Huagama, Guneet Gaur Sini, Ravinder Sandhu, Kweshi Sarpong, Amanda Sofia Skopolowski, Megan Rochelle Tibbetts, Marian Warsami, Ying Chu.
Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Doctor of Medicine. Daniel Abdali, Suhail Agarwal, Victoria Ann Archer, Serena Jane Aurora, Tobin Averbach, Arden Azim, Rebecca Michelle Bauman, Yasmin Bazadian, Simon Peter Bashara, Rachel Mariah Bierbrier, Rosalind Patricia Bihoon, Claire Heather Edith Bodkin, Suzanne Borsali, Siza Brual, Morana Karen Tober Brush, Kat Butler, Stephanie Chan, Cindy Cheng. Kevin Chung. Kai Ling Che. Elaine Choi. Tristan Coulter-John. Celine Conforti. Genevieve Crush. Valerie Wenke Sway. Kayla Dadgar. Michael Daniel DiDominicus. Victoria Marie Christina DeVito. Natasha Samantha Dias. Maylin Ding. Kevin Donak. Anne Beatrice Lange Drury. Sujan Alancharan. Adam James Ekbal. Shanice Josephine Ariuzlu. David Eli Friedman. Catherine Friedman. Sarah Gedley. Cameron Robert Giles. Brianne Golemick. Rachel Lynn Greer. Juliana Giuseppina Guarna. Senthujan Guansilan. Anmol Pankaj Gupta. Himanshu Gupta. Priya Gupta. Lindsay Ann Hasagawa. Cameron Vincent Henry. Peter Hoang. Allison Holland. Caitlin Howden. Rui Hu. Nadia Igjura. Vinay Jayachandran. Patrick Kim. Alana Kimmel. Tegan Lee King. Hannah Kraser Malamed. Andrea Kwan. Ryan Mark LaBelle. James Lai. Tracy Chakyan Lai. Kevin Lam. Manpreet Kaur Lamba. Rebecca Lowers. Jennifer Lay. Russell Lanferna. Amanda Lynn Leslie. Jasmine Natalie Levesque. Angela Lee. Madison Claire Links. Jasmine Liu. Stefano Lopiccolo. Jessica Evelyn King Luxt. Casey Kai McKenzie. Karishma Manji. Jennifer McAllister. Sean McIntosh. Honan Mi. Adam Miller. Kazim Merhadi. Nabil Mitha. Brendan Joseph Murphy. Stephanie Ann Napoleone. Nivi Navaratnam. Kimberly Ing. David Wynn. Aditya Nidumolu. Catalina Yuanling Ong. Allison Debbie Chang Willett. Sarah Pardiznia. Rachel Nadine Parker. Ryan Jordan Patak. Caitlin Patrick. Alex Rebecca Pierce. Ryan John Peters. Elise Marie Platt. Calvin Longkin Poon. Aaron Donald Royden Prosser. Pauline Emily Rattel. Ali Rizvi. Luke Emmett Ryan. Kalyani Sebanayagam. Amir Safavi. Sarah Saliba. Vasu Serene. Julianne Alyssa Sherman. Danielle Sandy Schwartz. Ifra Shah. Hussein Shakil. Saif Shamshun. Andrea Shamagaraja. Jamie Randall Shell. Chen Shi. Rasika Singh. Nikita Alicia Single. Anand Sinha. Sinthuha Sivanath. Paul Sladovnik. Aya Solomon. Varun Srivatsav. Lauren Elizabeth Strasser. Tanishq Shuryavansi. Wajahat Syed. Keith Tam. Melitza Tanich. Hui Thatch. Stefan Tran. William Tsang. Miara Tubman Broren. Dylan Tucker. Mustafa Turabi. Daniel Tursky. Kevin John Natalie Jane Wainwright. Sonia Shirley Wakeling. Alec Pingbang Wang. Megan Wang. Arthur Michael Welsher. Spencer Wilson. Portia Worthy. Michael Sie. Mark Xue. Mike Xue. Wendy Ye. Hang Yu. Jimmy Zhang. Kai Lai Zhang. Nancy Xiaoton Zhang. Edward Zhou.
Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Health Sciences, Midwifery. Zainab Atia. Sequoia Bartram. Stephanie Joy Bilan. Naomi Jenny Faith Bordish. Elizabeth Christie. Amanda Como. Samantha Doak. Julie Dow. Natalie Sarah Dykstra. Rachel Eliot. Hillary Everton Mayer. Hannah Janelle Fuaco. Ella Zainab Glabush. Marliana Corinne Gunther. Adele Harmon. Jessica Hebert. Lauren Mary Elizabeth Henderson. Sunny Humber. Jennifer Lee Knoll. Marnie McCluskey. Catherine Moore. Tracy Mullett. Kelsey Murray. Kaitney Elaine Putney. Victoria Kelly Reed Burke. Bethany Loretta Rempel. Hannah Elizabeth Reedstra. Allison Rigney. Haley Reuter. Stacy Jana Skelton. Jennifer Christine Sullivan. Rachel Louise Thompson. Heike Twelkemeyer. Sarah Elizabeth Vroigdenhill. Haley Weeb. Laura Weeb. Sarah Wood.
Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Health Science Honors. Ahmed Abdalal. Hamdi Mohammed Abdo. Kashiar Akbari Kalachaya. Adil Al-Bahayawi. Stephen Alchi. Zaid Osama Alamari. Noor Al-Yosef. Taklik Amir. Gaurav Arora. Julia Marie Avolio. Michael James Aw. Michael Ballas. Sierra Barnes. Sapriya Burke. Alexandra J. Bukavalis. Joffrey Nathan Braga. Hannah Biles. Danielle Campagnolo. Eric Justin Chan. Rimsha Khalid Chatta. Hanu Chaudhry. Zain Chima. Lisa Kai-Yu Cheng. Andrea Chiorian. Nick George Cronus. Flavia Joanna Cordos. Jacob James Curtis. Desiree Charnay D'Souza. Aaron Mindert de Young. Michael Thomas A. Dennis. Devin Mahendra Dionarain. Viral Desai. Gurleen Kaur Dhaliwal. Rafiq Erwal Furli. Rawan El-Sawi. Negar Esfandiari. Catherine Allison Falla. Zina Fatala. Sion Rajdayan Gadkar. Stephanie Anna Gagnon. Mark Giorgi. Sayed Aryan Gafarizada. Julian Yaha Gassemian. Jaskaran Gill. Mackenzie Sarah Green. Jenny Gui. Yazwanta Gumadi. Michael Scott Hamilton. Abdullah Haroun. Katrina Sachiko Haas. Yusuf Hassan. Rachel Hio. Rebecca Hicks. Alexandra Hildebrand. Julia Catherine Hildebrand. Charmaine Marie Holland. Erin Page Hopkins. Sarah E. Hordienko. Vincent Mingfu Ho. Catherine Hu. Alexander Hoa. Sonia Kalechi Igbo Onugo. Marina Ivanova. Liba Jamshed. Bronte Kimberly Johnson. Emily Ann Johnson. Justine Yuana. Aisha Kaleem. Kiana Karimpour. Bakir Jamal Kedwai. Melanie Kashishi. Alia Amina Khaled. Audrey Kondaker. Caleb Kim. Minju Judy Kim.
Yeah, Judy! Woo!
Nicole S. Kim. Wylam Jason Kwan. Moyosiori Ladipo. Jeffrey Lam Shin Chiang. Brandon Law. Rebecca Leclerc. Michael Hoyan Lee. Alvin Linus. Gareth Chi-Kin Leung. Maggie Hei Lee. Grace Lynn. Sabrina Lin. Chang Lu. Esther Liu. Jia Swan Liu. Jane Luft. Owen Dan Law. Danny Ma. Jian Xiao Ma. John Patrick McPherson. Dima Malkawi. Grace Martin. William Brett McIntyre. Haley Mackey. Kestrel Madison Freest McNeil. Eric Ryan Milne. Anatoly Moroshnichenko. Mija Murong. Ibrahim Mohammed Nadim. Sumana Naidu. Ananya Gopika Nair. Peter Nakla. Nawazish Nakvi. Hasmik Nazarian. Brandon Ing. Laura Noyen. Kuganya Nirmalarja. Marek Nisar. Mariam Noor. Argavan Omidi. Jonathan Lian K. Ong. Akila Ozkan. Puru Panchal. Natalka O. Parzai. McKenna Pook. Nicola Pupich. San Yang Zi Chuan. Raj Vikram Rajalingam. Preksha Rathod. Stephanie Ray. Kevin Yikshi Ren. Kathy Wren. Liam Emile Rondo. Devin Roshan. Mina Sadeghi. Ahmed Saeed. Rehan Saeed. Huda Sardar. Sharon Sarjinsky. Rochelle Sheepers. Philo Patir Sedrak. Kesavan Selvakumaran. Koyalin Selvakumaran. Jerusha Selvayanegam. Jamshed Shamlu. Yina Shan. Arajat Bolade Shipiolu. Alice Kellen Soper. Chuan Ming Su. Ji Hyung Sung. Marcorios Tadros. Paul Thuan Tiu. Enoch Tin. Jason Tran. Megan Delane Toomey. Gerald Uy. Dana Vo. Vivian Vuong. Mishkatul Wahid. Hayden Walker. Weiyu Wang. Ruiki Wang. Emily Chu Lee Wong. Anchi Wu. Xu Yu Wu. Zena Wu. Emma Yeeman Yu. Wei Yu. Hua Young Yoon. Ibrahim Yusuf. Safa Zargari. Yu Fan Zhang. Yu King Zhou. Jacob Alexander Zucker. Justina Zukowski.
Let's give one more round of applause to all of our graduates. I would now like to introduce you to Mr. Owen Dan Law, a graduate of the degree Bachelor of Health Science Honors with a specialization in child health, who will be delivering the valedictory address.
Good afternoon, Madame Chancellor, Dr. Susan Labarge, President and Vice Chancellor, Dr. Patrick Dean, Provost and Vice President Academic, Dr. David Farrar, and Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences, Dr. Paul O'Byrne, distinguished guests, faculty, family, and most importantly, my peers, the class of 2019. This is it, our convocation. I'm sure we all have some amazing stories hiding behind our eyes. I'm honored that I get to share with all of you a few stories from my life that might help spirit us all along into that real world people keep telling us about. Back in early November of 2013, my brother was diagnosed with Klinefelter syndrome. His development was greatly impacted by a microscopic abnormality. He had an extra X chromosome. His diagnosis was delivered to him as a life sentence. Modern medicine could not rectify his atypical chromosomes. His identity shattered. One night, he left a note expressing his desire to end the pain. I will never forget how my heart broke when I dialed into his voicemail and desperately searched the city with my parents. We were lucky. He did not complete his envisioned plan. Not knowing how best to support him, I simply listened, held his hand, and lent him my shoulder. This is when I learned how powerful kindness and compassion can be in the process of changing lives and transforming trajectories. I urge you all to recognize that uplifting those around us requires exercising your eyes to recognize those in need, harnessing your voices to start meaningful conversations, and leaning in with our ears to allow narratives to emerge. But just as we need to show kindness to others, we also need to show kindness to ourselves. I remember how I started university feeling like an imposter in a program full of success stories. All of my peers were already presidents, researchers, and volunteers. I was none of those. This compelled me to seek belonging by sacrificing who I was in favor of what I thought would bring me future career success. But this came at a great cost. I recall nights in my second year when I would wake up, clutching my jaw, a futile attempt to nurse away the pain of grinding my teeth all night. I developed temporal mandibular joint syndrome. I have seen many students, like myself, wading through swamps of fears or chilled to the bone by storms of anxiety, as if we were burdened by the weight of the world. But the Greek titan Atlas is hoisting the world up so that we don't have to. In whatever setting you find yourself next, remember that you are important and that you belong there. Sometimes, being kind to ourselves starts with appreciating the minute beauty in all moments. I remember arriving at McMaster University 4 years ago. My eyes were wide with wonder. I reminisced on my excitement when my car was first cheered into residence, the feeling of learnedness after my first university lecture, and my childlike sense of wonder when I made my first compound in a chemical laboratory. I like to tell others that it was acetaminophen, but the jury is still not on that. Today, we are all walking away with degrees in our hands, but more so than giving us some of the finest education in the world, McMaster University has given us moments of play, excitement, and discovery that will stick with us forever. My hope is that we will continue to find and cherish the minute beauty hiding in all moments, no matter how seemingly routine, when it lands upon our outstretched hands. We have all worked so hard to walk across this stage, but so many have supported us along the way. So I'd like to take this moment to celebrate all of our loved ones who are here with us today and those who stand by our sides in spirit. The soul-warming, home-cooked meals you have prepared for us, the reassuring "I'm proud of you" have texted us, and the hugs and kisses you have showered us with have helped us overcome all of the hard patches. Above all, no matter how many degrees you have earned, please be humble. Change does not happen alone. Improving individual and societal health requires collaborating between research teams, healthcare providers, policymakers, and the communities we aim to benefit. Starting tomorrow, we may be driving research by scrutinizing tissues under microscopes, delivering care in hospitals and clinics, shaping health policy by listening to the heartbeat of our nation, or working outside of healthcare. But no matter where we are, I hope you will remember to value and listen to each other's perspectives, especially if they are different from ours. I look forward to setting forth upon a brighter tomorrow with all of you. I encourage you to look to your left and look to your right. Those are your future colleagues. Celebrate them, uplift them, and be kind to them. I also encourage you to look within. You hold great promise. Be grateful and be kind to yourself. We did it, class of 2019, but there's much to be explored. Let your wings take flight. Thank you.
Thank you, Owen. May I now call upon our president, Dr. Patrick Dean, who will be presenting 2 President's Awards of Excellence in Student Leadership.
Would Sonia Ibo-Anugo please come forward? Well done, Sonia. Sonia Ibo-Anugo co-founded Black Aspiring Physicians of McMaster, or BAPMAC, when she was in her first year of medical school, maintaining strong grades while working tirelessly to build capacity and equip underrepresented students with the skills and the resources they need to succeed in healthcare work. More recently, Sonia successfully applied for an $84,000 provincial grant to continue BAPMAC's important work supporting, mentoring, and empowering hundreds of students. And with great foresight and a deep commitment to continuing to help marginalized students, in her final year, Sonia implemented a succession strategy to ensure BAPMAC would continue to flourish after she and its other executives graduate. Sonia organized the Windows of Justice event at the Salvation Army Ellen Osler Home, working to eliminate the stigmas surrounding women who are attempting to reintegrate into society after serving time in jail. She won the Lincoln Alexander Scholarship at the John C. Holland Awards and was a nominee for the President's Award for Community Engaged Scholarship. She also raised more than $50,000 in support of the Canadian delegation's trip to the 2018 African Youth and Governance Conference in Ghana. Congratulations, Sonia.
Very well done. Very well done. Here you go.
Now we'll do a photo down here. So I'd like to invite Owen Dan Law forward again. Owen Dan Law is an award-winning poet, a varsity fencer, an autism developmental service worker for young children, the editor-in-chief of a student-run health publication, and the founder of the McMaster Stem Cell Club, which has registered more than 900 bone marrow and stem cell donors in only 3 years. In his time at McMaster, Owen's hard work and deep commitment to academic excellence has earned him the Chancellor's Gold Medal for Scholarship, Leadership, and Influence, 2 undergraduate student research awards, and a long list of other scholarships and awards. Most importantly, Owen is a person of integrity, vision, and a willingness not just to act on an individual level, but to mobilize others to act as well. Under his leadership, the McMaster Stem Cell Club partnered with a range of campus cultural organizations, inspiring McMaster's diverse student body to address a gap in ethnic diversity in the National Bone Marrow Donor Registry. Under Owen's editorial leadership, the Meducator has expanded its commitment to diversity, inclusion, and interdisciplinary collaboration. He founded MeduCollab, which pairs students with experienced mentors so that they can learn real-world skills from the Meducator's editorial board and creative team. Congratulations, Owen. Very well done. So great talk and a remarkable achievement.
Congratulations, Sonia and Owen. May I now call upon Dean and Vice President of the Faculty of Health Sciences, Dr. Paul O'Byrne, who will be presenting the Governor General's Academic Medal, the Chancellor's Gold Medal, and will then deliver the Health Sciences Address.
The Governor General's Academic Medal is one of the most prestigious awards a student in Canada can receive. Established in 1873, this honor recognizes exceptional academic achievement at the high school, collegiate, undergraduate, and graduate levels. Each year, McMaster awards just 2 Governor General's Silver Medals to the students at the university who've achieved the highest academic standing at the undergraduate level. Earning this accolade not only places this year's recipients among the top students to graduate from McMaster, it places them among the top students in all of Canada. On behalf of Her Excellency, the Right Honourable Julie Payette, it gives me great pride to present the Governor-General's Academic Silver Medal to Philopater Cedric. Madam Chancellor, I ask that you and all those present join with me to express recognition of this achievement. The Chancellor's Gold Medal is one of McMaster University's most prestigious awards. Established in 1938 by Dr. Howard Whidden, the Chancellor's Gold Medal honors a student who ranks highest in scholarship, leadership, and influence. Each year, McMaster University awards one undergraduate student in their last year of study with this award. It acknowledges and celebrates their dedication to academics, to leadership, and to culture. Madam Chancellor, it is with pride that I present this year's Chancellor's Gold Medal Award winner to Owen Dan Law. Madam Chancellor, I ask you and all those present join with me to express recognition of this achievement. Chancellor Labarge, President Dean, Professor Shanahan, esteemed faculty, guests, and of course, most importantly, members of the McMaster class of 2019. Congratulations and thank you immensely for allowing me the privilege of speaking at your convocation. There is a photograph in my office of an older gentleman sitting with a child on his knee. The gentleman is smiling warmly at the camera, while the young boy looks a little more serious. The man is black, the boy is white. The boy is my cousin's son. The older gentleman is one of the most impactful and influential leaders of the second half of the 20th century, Nelson Mandela. This photograph happened because my cousin was the vice principal of the Johannesburg school attended by President Mandela's grandchildren. The president would visit for sports days and other events, and when he was present, he took great joy in interacting with all of the children. Nelson Mandela, a Nobel laureate and the first democratically elected President of South Africa, is, I would argue, the most inspirational global figure of the last half-century. He is simply the standard against which we measure contemporary heroes. Now, when I look at the photograph on my desk, it inspires me to think past the image, to attempt to understand what made Nelson Mandela such a great man and so widely loved, which is, of course, a very rare combination of traits in a political leader. It's nearly impossible to fully categorize the abilities that allowed him to lead his country away from systemized oppression, violence, and hatred. Mandela was, of course, a deeply thoughtful and famously courageous man. He was also unimaginably forgiving of those who had oppressed his people and destroyed half his life. With these qualities and others, I believe he set the greatest example of leadership that I have seen in my lifetime. But to those of us not touched by history, his qualities must seem like superpowers. And yet, I think if we probe a little more deeply, we can find traits in Mandela's character that we can borrow for our own daily work and our own responsibilities. Each and every member of the graduating class of 2019, as well as my esteemed colleagues on this stage, has and will continue to be called to leadership. It is an inevitable result of a career in health sciences. Many people you encounter will look to you for advice and for leadership, and when you speak, they will listen. Some of you will find leadership roles in hospitals and in other health systems. Perhaps you will take your place in an academic environment like ours, which is rich in research and learning. For others, it'll be in business, in management, or in government. But regardless of context, everyone with a career in health sciences will be called to leadership in small ways as well as great. The responsibilities of patient care, engaging with families, offering hope or comforting grief, all require some of the leadership attributes that Mandela exemplified. For example, Nelson Mandela was honest and he was clearly spoken. He was easy to understand and to believe. He was open and he was generous with his time and the time he gave to other people. And he was a careful listener. When we look at our leaders and our heroes, we can usually argue that their heroism and leadership are born of unusual circumstances. And certainly, Mandela's life, his birth into a nation of apartheid, provided the context that elevated his leadership and gave spark to his heroism. But look around you. You are graduates of one of the world's great health science programs. You are on the path to work in healthcare and health sciences, fields that by definition touch every human life, and which has a history of producing many of the giants of our society. It is a field that protects the most vulnerable and operates on the first line of defense against catastrophe. It is a context worthy of heroes, and you enter into it with a McMaster Health Sciences education, as well as a roster of role models who graduated from our faculty to become great leaders and heroes, whether for millions of people or for a handful. Take the best and most portable of Mandela's powers with you as you graduate into that world. Be honest and clearly spoken, but listen carefully. Be open and be generous with your time. Be a leader. Be a leader in healthcare from McMaster. You will have many opportunities to contribute, to change lives, or even to change the world. Your commitment to healthcare and your McMaster education all but guarantee that. What a remarkable privilege that is. Now, you have already accomplished a lot, and you've made your families and your McMaster family deeply proud. But we all recognize that this is just the beginning, and we look forward to, with great anticipation, to what you do next. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Paul, and congratulations to Philo Patir and to Owen. May I now introduce you to Elise Rosa, a graduate from the Bachelor of Science class of 2010. She has a Doctor of Philosophy and is a representative of the McMaster Alumni Association, and she will deliver the Alumni Association address.
Chancellor Labarge, President Dean, award winners, honorees, McMaster faculty, fellow alumni, guests, and especially members of the McMaster class of 2019. If Convocation could talk, it might tell you, your life is changing, so come take part in this ancient ritual while your parents take pictures of you in a borrowed gown. However, crossing the stage marks one of the most significant changes of your life. You are moving from your career as a student to your career as a professional, or from being an undergraduate student to becoming a graduate student. Or maybe you're going to trade in the goals and routines of university for something more free-form and personal. We all experience the graduation transition in our own way. No doubt, many more transitions are ahead of you as you move through stages of your life. What won't change is that your experience earning your degree will always be a part of you, and you will always be a part of our community. At times, that connection will feel strong. Other times, it will take a backseat gracefully to other priorities. But when you do want to turn that lifelong relationship into an activity, a social media connection, volunteering, or any one of a dozen other kinds of opportunities, the McMaster Alumni Association will be there for you. You can read about your alma mater, your fellow alumni and classmates in MAC, a news magazine for alumni, either in print or digitally, or through monthly e-newsletter Maroon Mail. Be sure to check the alumni site on Medium and read about fellow grads' real lives after MAC. Learn from the career newsletter Insights and join MAC alumni communities on social media. You are now members of MAC 10, which is programming specifically geared towards the graduates within the first 10 years after graduation. If you are looking for assistance getting your first job as you navigate the next steps in your career, the MAA has a number of resources, events, and programs to help, as well as an alumni career counselor. The MAA also offers things you probably didn't realize, like deals on insurance and health and dental coverage plans, for example. And if you think moving away from Hamilton is going to cut your ties and connections to McMaster, that's really just not the case. If you keep your contact information up to date on your alumni profile via the alumni website, you will receive invitations and notices about events taking place near where you live. You'll be surprised just how many places McMaster events will pop up. And with online networking events, mentoring, and webinars, you can always make a MAC connection. When I leave here today, I know that nothing I've just said will probably stick with you, but as a recent graduate myself, I have a couple of tips for you. I'd encourage you to wear your MAC pride and always share where you went to school. You'll make some great connections with fellow Marauders out there, and others will just be impressed by your credentials. Take a minute to check out the alumni website, read the emails, follow the posts, and learn about what your new status as alumni can offer. And whenever that day comes that you're curious and ready to connect, we'll be there. Your alumni association after these spring convocations will be over 200,000 strong. Members of the class of 2019, congratulations on your convocation and welcome to the McMaster Alumni Association. We're very proud to have you join the MAC alumni family. Well done.
Thank you, Elise. I now invite Dr. Dean back to the podium to deliver his President's address.
Madam Chancellor, Dr. Shanahan, distinguished colleagues, graduates, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to pick up on a number of themes that you've heard already raised from the platform this afternoon. Like many of the rituals by which we order our lives, convocation is a combination of the private and the public. Today we're celebrating your individual achievements as well as our collective renewal through those achievements and through the futures that you will all go on to form. Convocation is also, oddly, a form of therapy in that it is intended to give acknowledgement, focus, and expression to our awareness of change, of the life transitions which you're all experiencing right now, and of the broader shifts in our society and culture which implicate us all. One phase of life is ending for you and another is beginning. Perhaps still within McMaster if you're planning further study, or as is likely the case for most of you, beyond our university. And while I said convocation helps to give focus to our awareness of change, that's not to say that it necessarily simplifies moments like this. After all, while the end of one phase can be a relief, it can also occasion a sense of loss, or perhaps even grief. And while we may approach the beginning of our next phase with excitement, that will also likely come with an admixture of nervousness and sometimes fear. So the combination of emotions on a day like this will be different for all of us. Now, I'm an English professor going through changes of my own. As some of you may know, I leave McMaster University at the end of this convocation season. So given that, perhaps you will indulge me in a brief poetic moment. I was only delighted to hear Dr. Shanahan read poetry from this podium earlier on. I want to read to you some lines from T.S. Eliot's poem, Little Gidding. It is the last of his 4 quartets, published in September of 1942. And it is a riff, although Eliot would probably not have called it that, on the saying which Mary, Queen of Scots, embroidered on her cloth of estate while she was imprisoned in England prior to her execution. This is what she embroidered. En ma fin gît mon commencement. In my end is my beginning. And nearly 400 years later, also in London, England, and with the massive destruction of successive German bombing raids all around him, T.S. Eliot amplified Queen Mary's motto in this way, and these are the lines I wanted to read you. What we call the beginning is often the end, and to make an end is to make a beginning. The end is where we start from. These, I think, are helpful words on an occasion like this. While it is tempting at times of change to mourn the loss of something that is coming to an end, it is important to keep your focus on the future, however unknown or however unknowable that may be. For Mary, Queen of Scots, imprisoned and under threat of execution, the future was imagined as a Christian afterlife. For T.S. Eliot, thinking about Nicolas Faraz' 17th century religious community in the context of wartime Britain, it was that and more, a social and cultural resurgence animated by belief and unified by transcendent values. To make an end is to make a beginning. That must be our theme for today, and we should all embrace it, however differently we see ourselves starting out, and however contrasting are our hopes and our ambitions for the future. Acceptance of change, along with the constant process of renewal that it implies, is fundamental to success, whether for individuals like you and me, or for institutions like McMaster, in which we jointly find our place. Change drives us forward to challenge ourselves and to scale even greater heights. Now, it's not as if we have much choice in the matter. The Greek philosopher Heraclitus is reputed to have observed that change is the only constant in life. But we do have a choice about how we respond to that change, whether we will treat ends as beginnings or merely as ends. And no less a thinker than Confucius has pointed out the link between acceptance of change and our growth as human beings. He is reputed to have said, paradoxically, that they must often change who would be constant in happiness or wisdom. And that last point is an important one for all of us as a university family. Despite the fact that universities have been around for over 900 years and are seen as one of the most stable institutions in the West, they have not been immune to change. Indeed, all the teaching, learning, research, and discovery that happens in a place like McMaster is premised on the restless pursuit of truth. To be successful, the university must always be changing, developing, and creating new beginnings of one kind or another. In the 9 years I've been at McMaster, I have been witness to constant and far-reaching change. The most obvious examples have involved alterations to the physical fabric of the place, the demolition of Wentworth House and the construction of L.R. Wilson Hall, the expansion of studio art and engineering experiential education facilities, groundbreaking for the Peter George Center for Living and Learning, opening of the David Brayley Health Sciences Center downtown, and the construction of the outdoor Indigenous meeting circle, to name only a few. And since I mentioned the Engineering Experiential Education Center, I'm pointed to observe a major shift in pedagogy that has occurred during the last decade, in which the emphasis has moved towards experiential, technology-enabled, self-directed, and community-engaged ways of learning. And the university has transitioned overall into a more vital engagement with its local and global communities in recognition of our fundamental mission to advance human and societal health and well-being. And so substantive has been that shift that our university was recently ranked second in the world for our contribution to the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. That is indeed something to be very proud of. And listing off these changes gives me pause to reflect on the speed with which time passes. I wonder whether you feel as I do, as if it was only yesterday that you arrived at McMaster. But think about this. What we're celebrating today is, for most of you, the successful completion of a project to which you have devoted approximately 20% of your lives so far. The 9 years I have spent here account for the same percentage of my adult life. It has been time very well spent, I hope you will agree. But it has been spent, nevertheless. And the task today is to ponder the time ahead of you and to consider the thoughtful and joyful ways in which you might use it, making use, I hope, of all the skills and the experience you've worked so hard to acquire during your time at McMaster. I find it interesting that we talk about our relation to time using the same language that we use for commerce. We spend time. Sometimes we invest it, and sometimes that investment of time pays off. Now, there's a witty rejoinder to this tendency in our speech in one of the very first self-help guides ever written. It's a book published in 1910 called How to Live on 24 Hours a Day by the English author Arnold Bennett. And it includes some remarkable advice for living life to the full. Bennett notes that time is indeed a commodity, but it is a commodity of a very special sort. The supply of time, he says, is truly a daily miracle. You wake up in the morning and lo, your purse is magically filled with 24 new hours of the unmanufactured tissue of the universe of your life. And it is unstealable. And no one receives either more time or less than you receive. And perhaps the best thing about time, he notes further, is that you don't have access to credit for time. You cannot draw on the future. It is thus impossible to get into time debt. He says, you can only waste the passing moment. You cannot waste tomorrow. It is kept for you. Tomorrow is kept for all of you. My hope is that you can make a success of that tomorrow and of the new beginning and the new life that you're about to embark on. While this ceremony represents an ending for you and me, it is also, at least this convocation season, it is also an ending for our esteemed Chancellor, Dr. Suzanne Labarge. Dr. Labarge has served McMaster with great distinction for the last 6 years as our 18th Chancellor and has presided at all of our convocation ceremonies during that time, as well as acting as our most prominent university volunteer. These spring convocations are the last ceremonies that Chancellor Labarge will preside at, and I didn't want to end any of these ceremonies without recognizing her service and extending our thanks for all that she has done. So there are many of us saying goodbye. Valediction is always difficult. But as Winnie the Pooh is believed to have said, how lucky we are to be leaving something that makes the goodbye hard. My very best wishes to all of you.
Thank you very much, President Dean. And I will say it's been an honor being Chancellor of McMaster. But what I want to say is I've gotten far more out of it than I've ever given. And it's days like today. What I find fascinating about today, and it happened at the nursing convocation yesterday, is I gave out degrees in science. I did not hear anybody, whether it's your valedictorian, Dr. Shanahan, Dr. O'Byrne, President Dean, nobody talked about the science. We know that you will have learned it having studied here at McMaster. What I heard was the humanities side of the future and of what you are going to do. And it explains to me, it makes me, first of all, extremely proud that that is what McMaster is teaching. But furthermore, it makes me really understand why McMaster is so well rated in the health science community. And watching all of you, it gives me enormous hope for the future. So I thank you all for what I have had. And it's been obviously a pleasure dealing with President Dean, and as he said, he's leaving too. And in my time here, the thing that I would notice, and that I hope you have or may not have seen as closely, is his focus on what is good for the student body. His passionate interest in students, their learning environment, has been sort of overriding from what I have seen. And on behalf of hopefully all of you, I'd like to very much thank him for that. And now I get to do sort of the housekeeping announcements. So I would ask you to remain standing at your seats until the academic procession and the graduates have left the hall. Finally, please join now in the singing of our national anthem. After the singing of the anthem, this convocation stands adjourned.
And